My parents were both artists, and my mother was a textile artist. So being by her side, constantly picking up the scraps as she made things from textiles, I was like a little rat scurrying for all her little scraps, and I always made things from bits and pieces of fabrics. And just growing up in that environment with creative family, it's kind of expected of us to make things when we were kids to contribute, because my parents, that's what they did, is they made and sold art, and that's how we ate. My mother had a brilliant eye for gorgeous textiles, and she taught me lots and lots about old tapestries and vintage fabrics. When she passed away 5 years ago, my father had passed away prior to that, and I felt this enormous pressure to carry on the family torch of creativity. I felt like I couldn't let it die with my parents. So the night that my mother passed away, I came home and I got out all the scraps of fabrics that I had, and I made a purse as a shrine in memory of my mother. And it was pretty amazing. It was an old Jesus tapestry that my mother had given me, and I cut it all up and turned it into this Jesus sack. And I was going through the store, and this man said, "That's sacrilegious." And I thought, that's hilarious. But it was really beautiful. It had all kinds of funny little ribbons and strings and things sewn all over it. And as I was walking through the store, this lady kept following me with her cart, and she came up to me and she said, "I have to ask you where you got that purse." And I said, "Well, I made it just last night." And she's like, "Well, would you like to sell it?" And I said, "No, it's kind of a personal thing, but I don't really want to sell it." And this lady just kept following us around and followed us out to the car and said, "I really want to buy that purse. Would you consider selling it?" And I thought, what would my mom do? She'd sell it. So I sold it to the lady. She wrote me a check right there in the parking lot. So I thought, I'll just go home and I'll make another one. And the same thing happened. People were just hunting me down. And John said, "I think you're really onto something with these bags. Why don't you make a few and see what happens?" And I started making them, and it was divine intervention or something, because overnight it was a huge success. People were calling me from everywhere trying to get these bags, and I've done remarkably well. I'm just very blessed.